Oh, hello. I'm filming a video and I'm short. This looks good, right? Hello friends, my name is Cassie, and if you have never seen my face before, I am a lifestyle vlogger here on YouTube. This is my lifestyle channel. I also have a vlog channel where I film my everyday life. Today I am here to tell you about all the books I read this summer. I only have 2 days left of summer. I head back to school on Saturday. Today is Wednesday. I might already be there by the time you're watching this video, but I have read a lot of books this summer. More books, I think, than I have read for pleasure in maybe the last 3 years combined. I've read a lot, some rereads, some new things, and I'm just gonna go through them for my future reference and for you to find maybe a cool new book. I have my Goodreads pulled up in front of me because I've been tracking the books that I read, so if I'm looking down, that's what's going on. By the way, all of the books that I am about to mention will be linked down below if you want to purchase them on Amazon or see what the exact title is. I didn't purchase any of these books. I either checked them out from the library or already had them. Reading is a very cheap pastime. The first books I read this summer were the Harry Potter series. I reread all 7 of them. This is the first time I've actually managed to reread all 7. I hadn't read all of them since I was 10 years old, maybe? I just turned 20, so that's a long time. I had reread the first 3 at least 3 or 4 other times. The third one is my favorite. It's such a magical world and it was so much fun. I blasted through them. If you've never read Harry Potter, please do. It's fun if you're a kid or an adult. Next up is a book called Gut, and it is about the title. It's all about your gut, your digestive system, how your body and mind work together. It was highly interesting and also made me think a lot about what I put in my body and how my body works for me. There are billions of types of bacteria in your gut that help all kinds of body processes. It started by outlining the basic digestive system and how everything works and what the components are, but towards the end it started talking about things like how your gut affects people with depression or schizophrenia, or even how your gut helps your baby when you're pregnant. It's a very scientific book, but it's not written in a way that you feel dumb if you're not sciencey. It was very easy to understand, very easy to follow, and really fascinating read if you're interested in how your body works. Next up is Shakespeare, The World as a Stage by Bill Bryson. My advocate got me this book as a graduation present my senior year, and I started to read it, but then I went to school and got distracted. So this year I came back and read all of it, and my boyfriend actually also recently read it because we both love Shakespeare. Basically, it just tells us all the facts we know about Shakespeare, which is very little. It's sort of a history book, but it's also really fun if you're familiar with Shakespeare because it talks about plays and when the plays were written, different alternate titles that happened, and at the end it disputes the overarching question, did Shakespeare actually write his own plays? The answer is yes. Yes, he did write his own plays. I think learning about history is super fascinating when it's in the context of something that I'm interested in, so this was a really cool way to learn about the England of Shakespeare's time, but also learn about his life and his art. Definitely recommend to theater nuts like myself. Next up is a book called Training in Tenderness. This is more Buddhism related, and it talks about the Buddhist art of Tsewa. I don't exactly know how to pronounce it at all. I probably just butchered that. I will put the word on the screen. It was a really good book about compassion and how we relate to other people and opening our hearts. Just a really good book to bring it down, be insightful, and think about the human experience. Next, I read a book called Like a Mother, A Feminist Journey Through the Science and Culture of Pregnancy, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It's all about pregnancy. I think pregnancy is really interesting and simultaneously the most terrifying thing in the world. This was a really interesting book about pregnancy, about the things that can go wrong, the things that can go right, the things that you don't know if you've never been pregnant, but also what it's like to be pregnant and give birth from the perspective of a minority race. If you think the body is interesting, this book blew my mind. There were so many facts that I was just like, what the frick? Did you know that the cells of the placenta trick your body in a way that only cancer cells know how to do? Like, cancer cells and the cells of the placenta do the same thing, but one kills you and one grows a human. What? This book was really good. Next up, I listened to Amy Schumer's autobiography on audiobook. Didn't know anything about Amy Schumer. Honestly, never seen any of her stand-up or her show or anything, but it was really good. I love autobiographies, especially from actresses, and it was really cool to hear her story. She is the one who reads the book. Again, I listened to audiobook, and it was really cool to hear her reading it. Along the same lines, next I listened to Lauren Graham's autobiography. She plays Lorelai Gilmore in Gilmore Girls. It was really cool to listen to her talk about Gilmore Girls and her journey. Again, it's hard to describe because everybody's experience is so different, but I find autobiographies, especially of actresses, very fascinating. Being an actress myself. There are 3 books that I listened to on this. The final one is called From the Corner of the Oval by Beck Dorestein. She was Obama's stenographer. Basically, she typed up his speeches, press conferences, things like that after they happened. She got the job really randomly, like on Craigslist. She got this job with the White House and then traveled with the president. I think she's still a White House stenographer. At the end of the book, she talked about being in Trump's White House. Not in detail, it was more about the Obama journey. Really, really interesting, and you don't have to be interested in politics to really, really love it. Next comes a book called The Year with Less, and this book is by Kate Flanders. She's a blogger, but I just found this through the library and thought it sounded interesting. Basically, she set herself a goal much like my New Year's resolution to not buy clothes, but even more in depth that she wasn't gonna buy anything. She's just gonna stop purchasing for an entire year. She has a list of exceptions, things like obviously groceries, but the whole goal was to save more money, get rid of her belongings that she didn't need, and really see how to live with intention. And this is really fascinating to me. It's written like a memoir and it goes month by month, and especially with the intentional living note, I think is something that I'm really gravitating towards at this point in my life, and it was really cool to read someone else's journey. Next, I read a Harper teen fairy book called Wings. This girl named Laurel grows a flower on her back and finds out that she's a fairy and she's really important, and it's a sappy teen romance and fairies. It's really naturey and it's just my ideal book, and it was really good, and it took me 2 days to read it, and it's not an adult book by any means, but it made me really happy. Yeah, check out Wings. And then finally, the books that I finished just yesterday, I reread the Twilight series. I've talked about this in my vlogs a lot over the past few days, but if you have only seen the Twilight movies, I understand why you hate it, because they're not like the books at all. The books are so much better. The plot lines, the relationships, everything is so much more developed in the book, as it always is, but Twilight in particular, like the first movie is really bad. Sorry, my cat is howling in the background. Wiley! But rereading these was a blast. I zoomed through them. I couldn't put them down. I think that Breaking Dawn might actually be my favorite book. A series I hadn't read since like late elementary school, early middle school. It was just a blast to get back into it. I forgot how much I loved it. I honestly love fantastical books like that. The romance just really sells it for me, and I had a blast. Definitely recommend rereading or reading Twilight if you've never read it. Alright everyone, that is the books I read this summer. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 books. I read 19 books this summer. That is a lot of books. I'm very proud of myself, you guys. School starts soon, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on school videos, more lifestyle videos about how to live your best life, how to save the environment, how to just generally be a great person who loves living life and is confident and happy. Thank you guys so much for watching this brief rundown of all the books I read this summer. Make sure to check them out. Let me know if you have read any of them and what you think, or which ones sound most interesting to you. Have a great day. Do something that makes you happy. As always, read a freaking book. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye!